Childhood is a very special period of anyone. That is when children start to raise questions, become curious and eager about the world around them. Neurological and psychological studies have shown that the brain of children in the period before 16 years of age will develop comprehensively and almost shape future intellectual abilities. It is also a very suitable time for children to discover science through the experience in a lively visual world.
Carbon dioxide. This is what? Soil. And the water minerals travel up to what?
However, most parents think that science is difficult and abstract for children, especially science for preschool children. Instead of looking directly like that, schools and parents can see that the studies and scientific experiments within the framework of the appropriate curricula for each age group can meet the curiosity of children at the same time, forming scientific thinking for children.
Greetings from Sang Vietnam on VTC10 Netviet. It is said that science is unfamiliar for many children, especially at a very young age. So what is the best method and approach for teaching science to the small children? In today's show, we have a conversation with Mr. Steve, the director of US Academy, on this topic. So thank you for joining us. So the first question is, in your opinion, what is the importance of teaching science to the children at a very young age?
I believe it's important for all young children to learn science at a young age, to make them more aware about the environment and all the living things around us. If they're not aware of these things, then they won't be able to help in the future for the next generations to come. So I guess they start younger with the basic science, learning about the trees and the plants and the flowers and basically how the whole life cycle works. That's important because that affects our daily lives.
So back in your country, how is science being taught to the children, especially the small children?
There's a lot of outdoor activities, so there's a lot of hands-on, first-hand things that you see outside and get to experience it. And it's a nice change of pace, being able to go outdoors and experience it for yourself rather than staying in the classroom and always looking at the books, which is also very important. Each year you progress and you change to a different type of science. So starting at a young age, we do the more simple things. The same here. I haven't seen the more advanced science here, which usually goes into laboratories. Like you start doing experiments in labs when you get older. The younger kids do more of the easier fun stuff, like butterflies, frogs, snakes, all that kind of stuff, photosynthesis. And those are the important basics that you need to get grounded before you move on.
So at your school, can you tell us about what is the importance of teaching science to the Vietnamese children? Can you share with us?
Just make them more aware, and that's always the goal, is to make everybody aware, not just kids but adults. And if it's not there to be educated, for them to learn about, then it's a shame. Everybody needs to know about all the things in the world around us. That's just what's going on computers. When I was a kid, we were outside all day, every day, not on computers. And I think it's very important to experience nature. Well, they're also learning English, so they're getting to learn new vocabulary, grammar, structure, all that. So it's English incorporated with the science. So they're still advancing their English level, but they're also getting to learn stuff that might be a little more fun to learn, like about animals and plants and flowers and trees. Most kids, I find, think that's more fun to learn about rather than just basic things that they always learn about at school. And the more fun the students have, the more willing they are to participate, learn, and the more they'll advance.
This is a science lesson for children from 9 to 11 years old at the USA Academy. The theme of this lesson is development of flower. This topic is very close to the daily life of students. However, not every student has the opportunity to learn about this content through experimental lessons.
Today we learned about types of leaves and plants. So when I come home, I will talk to my mother that we have learned about kinds of leaf, plants, and things that plants do, how plants reproduce, and the photosynthesis.
I learned about types of tree, and I learned about how trees form. Flowers, I learned about part of flowers. I will tell my parents what I have learned today because that is one of the ways that I can remember what I learned longer.
At each age, children will have different feelings about the world around them, and children will have their own perspective in accordance with their personality and living environment.
What are the edges? They are
Like a sock.
Therefore, if creating a good environment for children, helping them acquire knowledge that is appropriate of age and ability to promote their development process, when there is a good and appropriate environment, the self-development will be automatically boosted. This is also the reason why many science curricula are built in accordance with the topics that are interesting children.
what kind of leaf is it? Do you know?
Oh, we learn about some planet and we learn about the universe. We also learn about our Earth. And I think it's kind of interesting. The best thing I learned today is how to work with my partner, and I think the universe is very big, so I have to learn a lot of things about it, and I think it's fun. After every lesson, I always tell my parents what I have learned today, and they are very happy because I have learned some new things, and they also like science too, so they want me to be a scientist.
I can think and express about lesson today is I can learn more about trees and flowers, and I hope I will learn more about the world. I want to be a scientist in the future because I want to learn about the world, and if I can better, so I will learn about the universe.
They melt during warm weather.
Why is that? Activities depend on glaciers.
Learning, discovering, and experiencing science doesn't just mean learning theories, remembering formulas, rules, but most of all learning through the inquiry process from asking questions, practicing, and interacting. The children are learning through the senses and body movements. There are many skills that can be learned through scientific experiences, such as observation, comparison, classification, problem solving, creativity, decision making, teamwork, communication, exploitation of communication information tools. Thanks to practical activities, focusing on practice, children become more skillful and proficient over time.
It is said that science is something very far from the children and something very broad, and it is more suitable for the adults. So what do you think about this, and what approach do you think that the teachers should have?
I think it is because, like I said before, it's step by step, so you won't be learning the advanced sciences until you're older. So at a young age, you learn simple science that's not too difficult to learn. whether you're interested or not. And most kids are interested in at least some of it, whether it's the animals, the flowers, the trees, the leaves, the air, the cycle of things, of life, different processes. It depends, but I find that it's very important for them to learn it, and they tend to mostly all enjoy it. You have to be patient, especially for the ones who aren't as willing to learn or aren't as interested. They might learn at a slower pace, so you have to be patient. You have to focus on making sure they understand exactly what you're talking about, and speaking and listening, interacting with each other always helps a lot. Put them in partners, let them, I'll oversee it, let them ask and answer questions with each other. That helps a lot after they've done it with me.
It is really important to learn about science at the schools, but what about in daily activities, particularly in their homes? In what ways do you think that the parents should teach the children about science?
I think parents naturally know how to teach their kids. Every kid's different. And the parents know better than anyone on how to explain to that particular kid, which is their own. So I think that there's no book or guideline for the parent to follow. I think it will come natural for the parent as long as they're willing to put the time in, take the kids out, participate with them, answer all their questions they might have, which is like, what's that? What's this? They're gonna have a lot of questions. So as long as they're willing to be a good mom or dad, in my opinion, they'll be all right. They don't need a guideline or a book. Whatever makes it more fun for them to learn, because I tend that kids learn faster when they're having fun. So whether it's flashcards, games, videos, whatever you have at home, I think the best way is to go outside and experience it for yourself. Having fun enables them to learn, but also you need them to understand these basic science things so they can teach their kids, and they can teach their kids, and people need to learn. You don't want to not be able to answer questions about, is that spider poisonous? Can I eat that? Can I not eat that? You need to know these things, otherwise they could put you in danger.
From the experience in your country, can you share with us about how should the schools here in Vietnam change their teaching method or the content in order to better approach the children?
I'd say, more activities, invest more into laboratories, books, materials. Take them outside more, pair them in partners, let them do experiments and projects. That kind of stuff will make the students learn faster and more knowledgeable. Be more productive with a laboratory, especially the older you get, but even with kids, it kind of puts you in the science mode. So you're in the laboratory, you mean business with just science today. So it kind of puts you in that element of we're learning science today. You're in the laboratory, you're surrounded by everything science, and that's the best way, in my opinion, to learn about it.
Yes. So once again, thank you very much for joining us and for your sharings today.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sang Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sangvietnam@netviettv.net. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.